Hello guys, welcome to 3ds Max news for the month of December. It's only 2 weeks since we did the last 3ds Max news, but considering that we had already a lot of information regarding 3ds Max and we are having Christmas holiday soon, I decided to advance it a little. So let's start because we have a lot of things. Last week we get a new update for 3ds Max 2022, this is update 3, and it comes with a lot of new things. The big new addition to this update, I think that will be viewport filtering. So now we can do filtering per viewport. It's the first time that we can do this in 3ds Max. You can have now a viewport with bonds and helpers only with no geometry, and then you can have another viewport where you will have all the elements except bonds and helpers. Just to say an example, but I think that it's a great example for animators, for example, where you want to work in one viewport and see something different in another viewport. On each viewport menu, you will have a new icon that is kind of like a filter. You can turn this on or off, it's simply a toggle, but then you can open a menu, and in this menu you can filter any element that you want, and there are other options like copy-paste, to copy-paste the filters of one viewport to another viewport. There is full max script exposure support for this filtering, so you can adapt it to whatever needs that you have. And this dialog as well, it's modelless and it's dockable. So you can have this dialog always open, having it in any part of the UI, and turn it on or off as you need. Another very requested function was to have an occlude mode, and we have this in Edit Poly now. When occlude mode is activated, it will avoid to select any face or any vertex that is not visible to the user. So it can be great when you need to select heavy meshes, scans, clean scans. I think that can be very useful. No matter how dense is your mesh, it will always work. Safe performance keeps improving. We had improvements on update 2, and on this update 3 we get, in top of what we had before, between 20 to 40% faster saving speeds compared with update 2. Shangso Eun provided this detailed comparison with different scenes, and you can see that we get from 2 to 3 times faster savings comparing with version Max 2022. Saving huge files is now much better than before, and it's something that, I use all the time, so great. Advanced Good Shader has been recreated in OSL. We have this shader before, but was not in OSL. And it was great to create all types of different procedural HUD. Now, being an OSL shader, it displays exactly the same in viewport to the renderer because it's doing an HL-SL conversion, and it has all the advantage of OSL, like you can offset tiles and UV offsets from the shader per object, getting way more control than we have before. In this version, pipeline integration gets stronger. Now it's possible to control 3ds Max path with environment variables, allowing more flexible setups like different plugins configurations, and have support for environment variables tokens in path. There are quite a big list of other improvements on these versions, like a fix for mouse with huge refresh rates, improvements on the Smart Extrude, that now it's solving it way better when you cut through non-planar polys and n-gon faces, improving loading and merging of scenes where orphaned layers with no parents layers was hidden before, improvements on the symmetry modifier with additional cleanup threshold, improvements on the unfold 3D peel to reduce UV distortions, and even chamfer modifier gets some improvements on limit effects, and some defaults are changed as well per user request, and I like quite a lot these new changes, like auto expand selection in Explorer, now it's off by default, that is something that it annoys me quite a lot before, and show selection range in time slider is now on by default. I use this all the time, and I think that now more people will know that it exists if they are on by default. There is as well support for a SketchUp 2021 and some other fixes that you can check on Shangso Eun webpage that he posts a lot of these videos, thanks a lot Shangso, and on the official What's New page. I will have all the links on the description below, make sure to check them out. But that's not all, we get as well a lot of updates on the roadmap. Some new elements has been added on beta and on future, and I will review these new additions to see what new things we have, and we can get an idea of some things that will come with Max 2023 or maybe later. Progress bar has been unified and added on file load and file save for better representation of what's going on, so you can see more or less how much time it will take to open or to save a file. One of my favorite on the beta is auto back, and it received a huge update. Now you have custom icons, and you can activate the Activate Easily auto back. You can skip auto back if you want. You can see what the next auto back will be executed with a timer, so you can see how many minutes or seconds the next auto back will come. And this timer will only start if you actually perform a modification on your scene. So if you don't touch anything since the last autoback, the autoback will not start counting. And when there is few seconds for the autoback to kick in, if you are doing anything interacting with 3ds Max, like you are in a menu, you are doing interactive rendering, or you are doing a simulation for cloth, autoback now is smart and it will not start doing an autoback until you stop interacting with whatever you are doing. Additionally, there are other options like to append the name of your Max file into the autoback name. It's something very useful for me. A lot of love on the autoback that sometimes can be annoying, now will be much better. On the future release, we get the addition of a material switcher, making it easier to switch between different materials. On asset build, on beta, we have a snap pivot. Personally, I am using it and it's awesome. And before we had the working pivot, and the working pivot, I never really used it because it was not really great integrated in 3ds Max. I think you need to go through some menus to activate it. This snap pivot, it changed quite a lot how you work with it. You simply can press a shortcut and the pivot will snap to whatever face or whatever edge or vertex that you are hovering. As well, it's acquiring the edge orientation or the normals of the face, and it's ideal when you need to rotate along an edge, do an inset over an edge, or all types of manipulation. I think it's an awesome new tool that will change a lot how you can model in 3ds Max, and you can test it right now if you are on the beta. The other very exciting on assets is a total new Boolean modifier. Until now in Max we had a compound Boolean that, well, it was working, but I think that having it as a modifier, it gives much more advantage. We will be able to do much more things, it's much more flexible. And also remember that we have in beta Booleans working over VDBs, so it's the same Boolean as always. You simply can switch to VDBs and we'll do a VDB conversion under the hood. We'll make complex Booleans way more easier. And in the future we have volume modeling, a total VDB toolkit to do all types of VDB operations as modifiers. And as you can see on the video, this will open a lot of new possibilities in modeling. Basically, it's converting whatever you have selected when you apply the modifier into a VDB and being able to do all types of operations and converting later into a mesh again or to fog or volume. For sure, it's something that I was waiting for a long time in 3ds Max and now it's coming. On proceduralism and effects, on Future we have Viewport Instancing API. Finally, we have a built-in feature inside 3ds Max to do instancing on Viewport. This will make it way more easier for developers to use an efficient instancing on Viewport without needing to do his own thing. What you can see on this video is just an example of the implementation of the API, but you can see that it's moving 40 million polys with animated objects and it's doing it in a very fast way. I think a lot of third-party tools will be able to make use of this. And on rendering, we have finally volumes on Viewport, another great thing. On the video you can see how Arnold Volume Import is used to see this function in action, but any third-party tool can use this as well, and we will be able to see this in different situations. But you can see how you can load sequences, you can display any type of data from a VDB, and it's going really fast on Viewport. Also here we can see on physical material we have a new sheen and we have a new thin film for rendering or for viewport visualization. On Future we have color management on 3ds Max, something that has been very requested, to be able to work with different color space in 3ds Max on Viewport and doing the gestion of color between your monitor and 3ds Max internally. If you are very worried about color, I think that it's something that was much needed. And something that we can see that they are working on is with atmospheric fog on Viewport. You can see it, Arnold and Viewport displaying exactly the same fog, and this is because, as well as we saw before, they are doing this volume in Viewport representation. On team collaboration we have GLTF export, where we can see how we can import and export GLTF. Physical material, it's more close to Autodesk standard surface, making very easy to transfer things to Maya, for example. And a lot of improvements on USD for rendering and for referencing as well. Also with all the work that we see on VDBs on other areas, something that we need is import and export of VDBs, and this is something that they are already working on. So quite a lot of new things. Let me know in the comments what are you more excited about, what you would like to see first. I am personally very excited with the VDB implementation, something that I have been waiting for a long time, but something unexpected like the working snap pivot that I am not a modeler per se, but I saw that it helps so much, and other things like the autoback. I think that makes our day-to-day life very, very easier. So let me know in the comments, guys. Let's see some of the updates on plugins and scripts that we had. We had on one side, Chaos Cosmos gets updated with 250 new assets of people and vehicles. You can get access of all of them for free if you are using V-Ray or Vantage rendering, and very soon in Corona Render. You can explore all what is inside Chaos Cosmos using a web browser. Remember that all these links are on the video descriptions below. Quasi Crystal released Render Stack 2.15. It's the popular scene manager for 3ds Max, gets a revamped set editor and new max screen modifier for further control of your scenes, and it receives as well more interesting improvements. Remember that you can try it for free. And talking about free stuff, let's see some of the free scripts that we get this month. We got BOA Ref from Box of Apps. This script allows you to pass an image from the clipboard into the 3ds Max to create blueprint setups in a very easy way. The first version is on beta and it's free so far. A Scale Rotate Reference is another script that allows you to move objects based on two source picks to a destination of reference. If you use the align command in AutoCAD, it's exactly the same. You define a vector that is your origin, and you define another vector that is your reference, and then you can do things like or move, or rotate, or scale, or the three at the same time. I think it's very useful when you need to move things in a very accurate way. Our friend David Almeida from Studio Didaly shared on the Stack group on Facebook Clip Planes version 1.0. It's a free script that uses under the hood the newest slice modifier, but allows you to place it on a very artistic and friendly way. Really interesting to sketch very fast new geometries. Check it out, it's free. What more you can ask? For learning resources, Autodesk released 40 minutes video exploring the latest new features in Arnold Render. A lot to learn and discover with this new version of Arnold, that is Arnold 7.0. And on the final there was a round of question and answers where the developers themselves answered some of the questions that some users had. Shirhat Barami shared a very complete course totally for free on YouTube to create rigs for game engines in 3ds Max. It's a total of 11 videos for a very complete course covering how to create a rig from scratch. And even he shares the 3D model for free for everyone, so you can follow totally fine these videos. And the 3ds Max is only for RGB. Today comes with something very interesting and totally different. It's a project from Peter Saridai, that he's from Pulse Studio, and he recreates Space Invaders inside 3ds Max. It's a personal experiment of his to create a playable game inside 3ds Max Viewport, done to celebrate the 3D December Day. You can download this game for free. You just drag and drop from your folder to the 3ds Max Viewport and start killing some aliens. You can share your punctuation on the webpage of Pulse. And we got Tamo Junto. Tamo Junto is an independent animated short film by the Brazilian studio Flow Animation. And it's about two neighbors learning on each other, turning small moments of life into great treasures, and it talks about the COVID situation. I think it's a great and interesting short film. Had a very nice style, nice animations, nice photography, and you can see a small behind the scenes where they showcase 3ds Max Viewport, so I assume that 3ds Max was used for animation, rendering, and modeling, I guess. Very, very cool work done here. And this is the end of the year, guys. 2021, it's almost done. And yeah, a lot of things. I think that we had 2 weeks since I did the latest 3ds Max news, but as you can see, a lot of new information regarding 3ds Max. So, and Christmas are coming soon. So I hope that you enjoy it. If you like it, consider to share it with your friends, subscribe if you are not subscribed, give it a like, it helps a lot to algorithm, and a comment, guys. It's the last video of the year. I would love a comment. And yeah, thanks a lot for everyone that is following me on Patreon, making these videos possible. Thanks a lot for this amazing year that we had in 3ds Max. I think a lot of new great things happened during 2021, and for what we can see on the roadmap, a lot of great things will come on 2022. That will be Max 2023. I always mismatch in the year I am because of 3ds Max. But yeah, guys, I hope that you enjoy the end of the year and see you soon in 2022. Bye, guys.